Trouble on a Trip to the Moon by Elizabeth Wells. Astronauts. Fred Haise, John Swigert, James Lovell. Many people love looking at the moon and the stars. Some people study astronomy to learn about things like the orbit or path of the moon. But for a long time, people could not travel to outer space. Then, in 1969, astronauts traveled to the moon for the first time. In 1970, a team of astronauts explored the moon again. Command Module. Lunar Module. The astronauts' spaceship was called Apollo 13. It had two parts, a lunar module and a command module. Astronaut James Lovell was in charge of the whole trip. Astronaut Fred Haise controlled the lunar module. Astronaut John Swigert controlled the command module. The command module would take all three astronauts into space. Then Lovell and Haise would fly down to the moon on the lunar module. Swigert would wait on the command module. Apollo 13. On April 11, 1970, Apollo 13 left Houston, Texas, and went up into space. At first, everything was fine. The astronauts did their jobs well. When they reached outer space, the astronauts talked to the team on Earth to tell them how things were. Astronaut in the spaceship. The astronauts on Apollo 13 wanted to tell everyone on Earth about their trip. They used a camera to film their lives on the spaceship. The astronauts talked about what it was like to float around inside the spaceship. Then the astronauts sent their film back to Earth. They hoped people could watch it on TV. Floating in a spaceship. But the TV stations did not want to show the astronauts' film. There was nothing new about seeing things floating in space, the TV stations thought. People already knew about that, and it would not be exciting. But traveling in space was very exciting. It was also very dangerous. Working in the spaceship. After the astronauts sent their film to Earth, they worked hard on their jobs. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. The astronauts did not know what the noise was, but Fred Haise sometimes made loud noises to be funny. At first, the astronauts thought Haise made this noise too. Apollo 13. But Haise did not make the noise. There was an explosion or blast on the spaceship. Many things started to break. If the astronauts did not fix these things, they would have no air to breathe, no water to drink, and no way to travel back to Earth. The astronauts had to stop their trip to the moon. They had to find a way to get back to Earth. Earth. There was an extra battery on the spaceship that the astronauts could use. The battery would power the spaceship for 10 hours, but the astronauts were very far from Earth, and it would take them 87 hours to get there. The astronauts needed a way to make air, water, and enough power for the spaceship to reach Earth. The team on Earth. James Lovell talked to the team on Earth. "Houston, we've had a problem," he said. The team on Earth was worried. Apollo 13 was in trouble, and the spaceship was very far away. It would be hard to help the astronauts. Lunar Module. The astronauts on Apollo 13 had to repair what was broken. There was not enough power in the command module, so they moved into the lunar module. It was important to save enough power to return to Earth. The lunar module was very small and very cold. The astronauts did not have much water or air to breathe. The astronauts were worried about the future of their spaceship. They talked to the team on Earth about how to fix the problems. The astronauts forced the lunar module to go toward Earth. They did not drink much water. Earth was very far away, but the astronauts were on the way home. Now, there was news about Apollo 13 on many TV stations. Everyone on Earth wanted to know how the astronauts were. Everyone wanted to know what happened to the spaceship. Pacific Ocean. The astronauts and the team on Earth worked hard to get Apollo 13 back home. On April 17th, the astronauts landed in the Pacific Ocean. They were safe. Everyone clapped and shouted when the astronauts landed. Responding. Target skill, text and graphic features. What do the photos in this book show you about Apollo 13? Copy the chart. List what each photo tells you about Apollo 13. Write about it. Text to self. Write a response telling why you would or would not like to travel in space. Include details about how it might feel, look, and sound in space. Target vocabulary. Astronomy. Explored. Float. Force. Future. Orbit. Repair. Space. Target skill, text and graphic features. Tell how words go with photos. Target strategy, analyze, evaluate. Tell how you feel about the text and why. Genre. Informational text gives facts about a topic.